Okay, our 4495 GVM kit on a 79 series Land Cruiser. Now, this conversion is only available for dual cab and single cab 79 series Land Cruiser. So now, it's a 4495 GVM. It's a 4,000 kilo tow capacity with a GCM of 7995. Now, people say, oh, well, why is it, why is your 4495 and your 4,000, it equals roughly 8,500, but you've dropped it back to 7,995. The biggest issue when you start to get into these heavy vehicle spaces is that they're a manual vehicle. So the 79 series is a manual car. So when you load up 8,500, 9,000 kilos GCM and you've got to move that vehicle on a gradient, there's a lot of load and stress on a gearbox. So hence we've reduced the GCM by 500 kilos to keep that GCM in the capacity that your manual gearbox can handle. So that's the reason for it. Now, this particular conversion is the biggest GVM, GCM brake tow capacity on any 79 series Land Cruiser in Australia. Now, we've designed this vehicle, people say, oh, why don't you go and buy an American Yank truck, whatever. Great, Rams, F-trucks, they all have their place in the market. So what we do see is an American truck is a very big, bulky vehicle, so limitations on where you can and can't take these vehicles. The other one is take an American truck outside of your main metro cities or up and down the East Coast, wherever, your repair and serviceability for that vehicle becomes very tough because Australia just hasn't embraced the American truck market quite the way Americans have. So we're very Toyota dominant here because every rural, regional town you go to has a Toyota dealership. So whenever we design a GVM in any capacity, we try to maximize the ability for it to be serviced at your local Toyota dealer, utilizing as many Toyota parts as you can to make that car the most reliable vehicle in Australia when it comes to that. So these are designed for heavy touring vehicles or work trucks. So mine sites, work trucks, drill rigs, whatever, these have the biggest payload capacity. So whether the truck's at 3 tonne or at 4.5 tonne fully loaded, the drive and ride quality from these vehicles is absolutely outstanding. Now, how do we get to this space? Again, we talked about throwing springs and shocks at a car is not an answer to make them carry more weight or give them bigger tow capacities or GVMs. You have to build that vehicle to meet a requirement and that can do the job. So what we've done with the 79 is we've taken the 79, we removed the rear chassis and we manufacture a brand new rear chassis section. So it has larger cross-sectional value in the chassis. The other one is it has the built-in tow hitch. So that 4,000 kilo tow hitch, it's built in and integrated into the chassis rails. It also has a rear winch cradle built into that rear tow hitch. So you can mount a front winch and a rear winch. So the car becomes a really good practical vehicle. No matter where you are, you've got the ability to rescue yourself. That's all integrated. Now, that rear chassis section, it integrates into the original chassis and it runs down up under the cab as well. Then, not from a strength perspective, but more from a drivability perspective. What we find with the 79s is when they get really heavy, you can feel the chassis moving around under the car. No issues from a strength perspective, but they have a poor drive quality. So what we do is the same as what we do on our 6x6. We have a full chassis brace kit that runs all the way up to under the front doors of your car. This here is mainly to improve the drive quality of this vehicle. So there's nobody else outside of the Jmacx system that is utilising these systems. So what we're doing is brand new chassis, welded on, chassis brace kit. Differential upgrade, so widen the track, 2850 kilo rear axle load capacity. So no point having a GVM when you can't practically load that vehicle. Once you put bull bar and side rails and winch and batteries and people in the car, you can't put any more load on the front. It all goes in the back. So you need a rear axle capacity that can cope with that space. So track correction, differential upgrade, heavy duty chrome moly axles, full float drive plates, strongest axles in the country. We also have the option for 300Ms on these, but the reality of it is your diff center is going to blow if you break that type of stuff. They're very, very strong axles. Coil spring options. So we've gone to King Springs, Australia, and we've said to them, we need to design a coil that can cover this vast range of load capacity, because we want this vehicle to drive absolutely phenomenally when it's empty, but also when it's loaded. So we're really pushing the envelope here to get that ability. So because we're able to recreate our own chassis rails and create space for larger coils, we've had them design up specifically for us a progressive armoured coil. And the outcome for that has been absolutely outstanding. So the ride quality of these is comparable. We've got customers with 200 series dual cab conversions driving these units and saying they're absolutely phenomenal from a quality of ride. And even loaded, they drive better than a lot of the 200s we see getting around today because of the design of the coil. Also too, we've taken the Ironman shock. Again, fantastic shock, really, really exceptional product. We struggle to find some shocks as good as these. We've gone in and we've revalved them as a Jmacx shock, and they've been revalved specifically to maintain that load capacity, but also where we see on these big GVM cars is the body roll on these cars is atrocious. They're addressing the rebound and compression, and the car will drive, but the body rolls are terrible. So we've really stepped out to control body roll in these shock absorbers. You can upgrade those shocks to a fully remote res 24-stage adjustable King with built-in bump zones. So we have these designed also for the 4495, so they can be optioned, as can King steering dampeners. But in your 4495 kit, it's the standard option is the Jmacx shock. The other thing that we've done is we've stepped up from a vacuum booster up to a hydro booster. Now, what we saw in testing is the vacuum booster works really, really well and goes all the way up, and even on these particular vehicles, passes all the testing. But as we start to push the realms of these to the extreme and we really start pushing them hard, the hydro booster starts to come into its own. As soon as you start getting those over 4.5 ton, big GCMs, etc., with that extra weight. So we've now put in standard in the 4495 is the hydro booster from Jmacx. So that is standard in our 4495 kit, as well as heavy duty brake lines. So our braided brake lines, so they're also optioned from 2 to 4 inches. So the 4495 kit can be done from 2, 3 or 4 inches of lift. So depending on the lift height you require, depends on the brake line kit. We do speedo correction for 35. So these kits are available in every state pre-rego and most states post-rego as well. So, but you need to probably contact us at jmacx.com.au to get more information on this kit, because this particular vehicle system is right outside the box from what a lot of states understand. So, but we've been given the go-ahead by most states because it does meet the requirement and it has been engineered. The other one that we also do is obviously front Panhard as well, but we also do an airbag kit, so either poly-air or airbag man, also to an NPC clutch. Again, as we talked about on our previous GVMs, you can't do these sorts of things on these vehicles without doing a clutch upgrade. You can't even do a basic retune on a 79 without a clutch. We use the NPC, it's a clutch and flywheel package, one of the best on the market, 1350 Newton meters. So these are all the things that we do in our 4495 kit. The other thing that we do in the 4495 kit is load rated wheels and tyres. So we have options, everything from ROH, P-cores, grid, etc. But everything has to meet that load rating requirement. So these particular GVMs can only be done through specified Jmacx facilities. So we've got Jmacx facilities that will do the bolt-in conversions in our Leaf GVMs, etc. But the 4495 is limited to particular facilities because there is welding, etc. to include, in that kit. It's not a bolt-in kit. So that'll give you some scope as to what's included in that 4495. If you want any more details on it, contact us at jmacx.com.au.